James, if you grew up in the church like your boy, you know the pastors will say all means all, and that's what all means. Now, Jerry said he's all in, Jay. You can't get more in than all in. Jerry said a lot of things, but what are your reactions to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys saying he's all in, big dog?
Jerry said he was all in last year. But watching that sound, it looked like he's a little bit more serious this year.
He meant it.
You know what I'm saying? But if you are all in, why ain't 88 there? If you are all in, why you ain't paid 88, which is one of your best offensive players, and you sitting here telling me you all in? So, number one, you're not all in because you ain't making sure your players is there to make sure you could go get this other playoff game, because he said playoff game, right? Now, if you're all in, you have an all-pro quarterback that you're not going to pay. And if you're not all in on him, please just tell us that. You know what I'm saying? Just say we all in for this year. I don't know if Dak going to be the quarterback for next year, but we all in for this season with Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones said this same stuff last year. I don't think any of that changes, right? You got star players. You had star players that did not report to training camp last year, and you told us you was all in. Now you got star players that's not reported this training camp, and you telling us you all in, and your full team ain't even there. I don't know what to believe with Jerry Jones. You know, you got a coach that you don't know if you believe in. You got a quarterback that you don't know who you believe in, who was all pro. Your coach done won 12 games in a row 3 years straight, and you don't believe in them. I don't know what to believe from Jerry Jones when he says all in, because I don't know what Jerry Jones all in looks like.
That's very well said. He is all in, though, Joy Taylor. He's all in. Playoff games. That's his hope. What's your reaction?
He did say it last year, but you know how when someone tells you something that's like bad news or they're kind of shading you, but they say it with a smile? So it's a very confusing experience because you're like, I don't like what you're saying, but you're smiling at me. So, you know, I should be receiving what you're saying in a pleasant way, but it says, why do I not feel good about what you're saying? It's not mathing. Because Jerry's smiling the whole time. He's saying things that I don't think I would want to hear from Dak or CD or Mike McCarthy or really the rest of the Cowboys roster. What does this mean? CD is our best offensive player. He's not here right now. So, no, you're not all in because you haven't paid him, and obviously everyone knew that CD was going to want to get paid and had to get paid, and this is his turn to get paid. Again, these checks, you know, these bills, they add up. They're accounted for, hopefully. You draft him, develops, puts up numbers, you pay him. That's how this works for every single team. That's how the business works. But I know he said it last year, but he's saying it a little different. He's saying it a little different, and the situation's a little different.
It is.
Mike is coaching on his last year. Dak is going into free agency after this year. CD is not in camp. It kind of feels like he really is like, I have actually no more chips.
Yeah.
So we win on this hand, or we all go home.
That's a good point.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
That's a good point.
So he's saying, I'm all in this year and we starting over next year.
I mean, look, I don't want to pretend to be the Jerry interpreter. That's a grown man who has spoken many quotes over time, but you do kind of have to sift through some things that Jerry says sometimes. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm feeling what Jerry is saying. You're all in, right? Either with him or you against him. And
How often do you go all in?
Listen, a lot. I gamble a lot, and I win a lot. Listen, then I do lose. Jerry Jones, first of all, he's like whispering, though. I'm all in. I believe him. And then my thing is, why would you keep doing the same thing and respecting different results? What's that called? Insanity. Insanity. That's what it's called. It's like the last dance, yo. It's like the last dance. Either we win this thing or we not.
Yeah.
If you notice all the players is going through the contract situations, the head coach going through something, he didn't name all them. What name he say? Dak. And he's the main reason. If we going to win and go to the Super Bowl, I don't want to talk about these regular season games you win and them stats. I don't want to talk about the regular season games that your coach won. We want playoff wins, and I'm all in for that, right? I can't pay you guys all this money to do the same thing every year. And the problem is, like, as we watch this as fans, as people on TV talking about it, let's be real about it. If you had an investment, right, would you keep pouring into this investment that don't give you nothing back and gives you the same return every single time you invest into it? No, I want some results, and they're not getting results. So my thing is, I'm all in with Jerry. I don't know what y'all gonna do. Hey, Jerry, we together, baby. We all in.
Who is the coach that told you burn the ships?
Who?
Burn the ships.
Oh, Deuce Staley.
Deuce, yeah.
Deuce said, listen, we used to play games, right? I forget what game it was.
Deuce is different.
And we were like the underdogs. Nobody believed in us. He said, gentlemen, he said other words, but gentlemen, he said, we ain't leaving, burn the ships. Jerry, I'm with you, dog. We all in.
Deuce said a lot of things before the game
that we can't talk about.
We can't say. Here's my thing. I think, Joy, you're right on what Jerry's saying. I don't know if he's saying anything besides, look, I'm all in this year. Dak Prescott, it's your last year. Mike McCarthy, it's your last year, at least as it pertains to the contract. CeeDee Lamb, it's not his last year. But he's saying we're pushing all our chips in on Dak, all our chips in on Mike, and it's either win or go home. It's win or bust. And I do understand it because good is the enemy of great. And Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, as you know, they've been really, really, really good. 3 consecutive 12-win seasons is incredibly good. Dak Prescott, all-pro, hard to do. That is incredibly good. But good, it is the enemy of the great. And Cowboys have been good for 15 years now. Yeah. With Jason Garrett, they were good. When Shady and I were playing against the Dallas Cowboys were good. But they have not been great because that is the enemy of it. So I understand Jerry saying we are going all in. I'm actually not opposed to Jerry saying we are going all in because Dak has been very, very good. But has good been the enemy of what he wants to be, which is great.
I want to ask y'all a quick question, because
I got a question for you.
Because we're always against Jerry when he talks. But what would you guys like for Jerry Jones to do? He should just pay his players, right? Pay Dak. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think he should pay CD, and he's going to.
I think he should pay CD for sure, right? Because without the CD, a different team. Okay, so pay Dak, right? Pay McCarthy.
Yep.
And if we have the same results we've been having, then what?
So this is my thing. So what was that? What's your question?
I'm saying, so then what happens? So if I pay these guys, right, and we end up having a great regular season year, right? Some MVP candidates, we get in the playoffs, and it's the same thing happens. Yeah. Then what happens, James?
Then you still have all these players under contract, and you have a really good coach under contract, and you have a chance to do it again next year.
And the same thing happens again.
Have a punch your ticket to the playoffs and have a chance to go compete. That's all you're trying to do, right?
No, I mean, I think for certain organizations.
I'm waiting on my question.
Okay, right down.
Go ahead, George. I got you.
Sure. I think for certain organizations that is enough. That is enough. I think it is enough for the Dolphins to win a playoff game. They haven't done it in a very long time. Go to the playoffs, but not win. Right. Winning a playoff game would be a huge step in the right direction. The Texans, right, winning in a playoff game or two, like that's a huge
little Texans, Chargers, you know.
Yeah, Chargers, you know, and this is not shade, but different organizations are at different development points. Yeah. Their best players are at different points in their career. So it's not shade, it's just a reality. That would be an accomplishment. The Jets winning a playoff game, even though the expectations are not that, would be an accomplishment. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2010. So this is a different situation. When you go to the playoffs every year, when you win the division every other year, when you are favored to win the division, when you're favored to win 12-plus games, eventually you got to level up. Like that, and that's where the Cowboys are. I don't think everybody is at that spot. We could compare them to other organizations and say, yeah, that would be a true accomplishment. Like that would be a successful season for teams that are developing. The Cowboys have arrived. So you're here, you got to do better. Or just stop asking us to expect you to be Super Bowl contenders.
So Dak gone, McCarthy gone, and young quarterback come in there, and a new head coach. That's what y'all want?
I mean, but
no, I'm not.
Yeah, because my thing is like,
I'm not saying you're playing bad. I just don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how it's going to play out.
Because I feel like you okay with this? You okay with every year is doing the same thing? Like, if you're the owner, you cool with this?
I'm okay with punching my ticket every year, and eventually y'all gonna get over that hump.
Do you think that the Cowboys?
Hold on.
You think the Cowboys can win? Yeah, okay, you got a question.
What is that?
Can I ask my question to you?
It's like some video game stuff.
How long has Mike been there?
4 years.
4 years. How long has Dak been there?
8 going on 9.
8 going on 9. CD?
4 going on 5.
Micah?
Ooh, 3 going on 4.
3 going on 4. It's been how long since they've been to the NFC Championship?
29.
Okay.
So what I would want Jerry Jones to do, like a lot of these owners do, remove yourself from the situation. And let the people that you hire do the work. and do the scouting and bring in the guys. Remove yourself from the situation because you all in every year and all these decisions got to go through you because you was all in last year and you needed linebacker after linebacker after linebacker last year and you made not one trade. You did nothing. You moved up to nothing. And you came against the Green Bay Packers and you was playing safeties in the box because you had no linebackers. And yes, you could blame the coaches and all that, get your scheme right, whatever, but I don't have no guys. These dudes got hurt. So it's been 30 years of you being the main dude, making the main decisions. And it has shown what? Nothing. And every single time it's Romo. Then it's Dak, then it's McCarthy, then it's Garrett, then it's the defense, then it's the offense, then it's the D coordinator, Quinn. It's all of that. And every time you step up to the podium, I'm all in. Maybe you should remove yourself from the situation, and then we see how this thing goes.
So it's all this is the issue right here. So it's all good when it's all good when we're for every other year we win in the division. It's all good when we have great regular season wins in the regular season, right? It's all good with Jerry. If you look at this Dallas team for the last 2 years, what do you want them to do? That's some of the most talented teams I've ever seen in years.
Yeah.
So let me finish real quick. So you talk about the linebackers. I can't name a team that don't have no weakness, right? If you look at the Cowboys, I mean, every other position was phenomenal. So yeah, in football, you're gonna have a position that's not that good. I can't name a team that there's no flaws. Yeah. So the stuff you complain about is small, it's minor, it's little.
But it's small. Hold on, because fix though.
How you gonna fix the linebackers?
Trade.
Hold on. So you got great secondary, you got great pass rush, you got great offensive line, you got solid defensive line, you got great wide receivers for the most part, you got a solid quarterback, you got a decent running back. Like what else you want? You want a dream team. You want an all-Cowboy team.
I think that it's tough. I'm with you. I've been critical of Jerry over the years. I think if you have 30 years of basically the same result, you do have to kind of look internally. I don't think that all of this, you can't put 30 years at the feet of Dak Prescott. Like, he's not been playing 30 years. So what is the consistent factor with any organization? So I hear you on that. But to Shady's point, you've had the number one offense. That wasn't enough. You had 9 All-Pros.
None.
That wasn't enough. You had an MVP level season. You had an All-Pro. You've drafted Micah. You drafted CeeDee. You had Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, you had an unbelievable offensive line.
Pollard was solid.
Yeah, but an unbelievable offensive line at one point. You have a solid defense now. You had a Super Bowl level defensive coordinator.
Secondary.
A Super Bowl winning head coach.
I'm gonna say what I'm hearing Joy say. Jerry's actually done a really good job.
He's done his job.
Like, if the job of the owner is put the players in a position to win, the job of the owner is to put talent around the players. Like Joy alluded to it, you got Dan Quinn, who was a head coach of a Super Bowl, as your DC. You got Kellen Moore, who's so attractive from a job perspective that after he flames out in Los Angeles, the Eagles instantaneously hire him, and Nick Sirianni's job is on the line, asked some people, and he hired Kellen Moore. Then you got Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl. Not only do you have Dak Prescott, you draft CeeDee Lamb while you had Amari Cooper. You have Ezekiel Elliott, and then you got Tony Pollard, who was a top running back that year that you franchise tag him. Then we kind of, Joy, you alluded to the offensive line, but let's not forget Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Tyler Smith. That's all Jerry Jones. Nice too. Then defensively, yes, last year at linebacker there were some voids, but nobody knew that Leighton Vander Esch's career would end because of a neck. And Demarion Overshawn, a third round pick, they drafted a linebacker, tore up his knee. You got Trayvon Diggs, you drafted him in the second round, not even in the first. Deron Bland, you got him in the 5th round, not even in the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st. So I'm not mad at what Jerry has done. You go acquire Stephon Gilmore. So if I'm looking at it, James, it might not all be on Dak, obviously the last 30 years, but McCarthy, you got to show up. Truth be told, Dak, you got to show up because this roster's so nice.
But what I'm saying is who's coaching the players? Because when it's going right and they winning games, Jerry does get a lot of this credit, right? But then when it's all coming down to it, he's put the players and now the players ain't performing. You talk about 9 All-Pros. Al Harris is coaching the secondary, really good coach. Like, these are coaches that's getting the best out of the players. We have won 12 games back to back to back, and I'm listening to y'all saying we need to get these people out of here because we have not got over the playoff hump.
I think they've hit their head on the ceiling. It's kind of like Sean McVay looked at Jared Goff, and he said to himself, Goff, you got me to a Super Bowl. You're a number 1 overall pick. So the whole world thought you were talented when they drafted you number 1 overall, a different coach. Then you got me to a Super Bowl, and Sean McVay said, you know what? Good's not good enough. because you lost 13-3 in that Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. Got rid of Jared Goff, instantly won a Super Bowl. I'm not necessarily saying that Dak Prescott is or isn't Jared Goff. I'm simply saying eventually you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, good's not good enough. Because Sean McVay was cooking with Jared Goff. And 13 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins. And he said, you know what? That's not enough to get it done.
And that's the only thing I'm saying about Jerry Jones. Like, we can touch on the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys put together a really good roster. But what I'm saying is it's been 30 years. And we all know everything comes through Jerry Jones.
We're not talking about 30 years.
All I'm saying is
there hasn't been 9 All-Pros in 30 years like it is right now. I give you another example. Okay, we're talking about right now. We're not talking about back then. We're talking about right now.
But all I'm saying is these last 3 years. Decisions that be made, though, Sean McVay made that decision to make that trade. Didn't have to answer to nobody, none of that. Jerry Jones doesn't allow that, which means even if certain coaches wanted to move off Dak or whatever, Jerry's not allowing that. Jerry's making the decision.
Wait, hold on real quick. So, like, first of all, I want you to admit that Jerry Jones has done a good job of putting his team together. Can we say that?
And the team has been good.
Okay, right. Not good enough, but good. And one sport, right, especially in basketball, football, where we watch the most, right? When you have a superstar team that you built up, right, and you think is ready to go to win a championship, and you paying all this money to all the star players, you build it up, and they keep losing. What do they do, James?
They break it up.
They break it up. What you mean? The Celtics for so long, we kept saying, if they don't win this, they might break it up. Am I tripping?
Not at all.
The Lakers, when they was winning, they had they started losing all that. They want to win the championship. What did they do? They broke it up. Kobe and Shaq. I could do this all day if you really want me to. All I'm saying is, for your point is like, for 30 years, I don't care about 30 years, James. I read the last 4 to 5 years, bro, and especially this year's and the last 2 to 3, they have really, really good teams. 9 All-Pros, that's hard to do. So as an owner, I'm going to pay my players. That's my job. Pay my players and get the best person I can get, right? Get good coaches. He's done that. Yeah. So now, once I give you that, James, so look, give and take. That's tell my son that. Or my daughter. Sorry, give and take. You be good, I give you this. You listen, I give you that. So I give you all these things. What are you giving me? Some regular season wins? So that you beating your chest on?
All I'm saying is for 30 years, it's been the coaches and the players.
Keep going to 30 years.
I'm saying I'm with you when
they haven't got over the hump in 30 years. Yeah. Forget the last 3 years not getting over the hump. It's been 30 years.
But that matters because this team, listen, when I look at like talent, I'll give you an example. When we went to that training camp to Dallas, I say, I know they were good, but I'm like, man, I didn't know they were this good. When you look around, you see all that talent, all that speed. You look differently. So I'm not looking at 30 years. I'm looking at these last 3 years. They're really, really good. Really good.
And they have been a really good football
for the regular season.
Mike McCarthy is the problem. I would
hate to see your investments, man, because you don't even care.
Hold on, Joy. Who's the problem? Who's the problem?
I mean, we put it at the feet of every other quarterback in the league. And I think that. And also, we've seen him lose games in the postseason.
That's true.
Look, Mike McCarthy, I think, has done a really good job. And I don't like the idea of hiring and firing coaches, especially when you've had consistent success. It takes a while to break through. It takes a while to build cultures. And Mike McCarthy has done a great job. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the problem at all. I would not move off of Mike McCarthy. I would absolutely not fire Mike McCarthy at all. I think that this is an interesting point for the Dallas Cowboys because of Dak Prescott. I would like to see Dak somewhere else so that we can all see what Dak really is, because Dak is in a constant position of having to be the face of America's team, which is a different job than every other quarterback job in the league, in my opinion. You're met with different scrutiny, whether it's fair or not. It's at a higher level than anywhere else with the Dallas Cowboys. If the Dallas Cowboys were actually not the Dallas Cowboys and they had the success that they had, we probably wouldn't even be talking about them this way. We just say this is a consistently great team. This is a team that's disappointed in the postseason, but they're always there. Eventually, they'll break through. We would make that exception for that. But that's not the standard for the Dallas Cowboys. That's not what the Dallas Cowboys owner wants. That's not what Dallas Cowboys fans want. So I'm with you. Like, at some point, something's got to give. So what's going to give? Is it the coach that did what he could do without Dak being out there when he was injured and then won 12 games 3 years in a row? In the NFL, that's hard to do. Hard to do. And I hear you in the postseason, but do you feel like Mike McCarthy was the reason why they didn't win those postseason games?
I don't. I think it was a quarterback.
I don't. I mean, I'm torn, right? Obviously, I think I would move off of Dak, just to Joy's point. Like, Dak has hit his ceiling. Beautiful ceiling, incredible ceiling. I mean, 9 years for the Dallas Cowboys, incredible ceiling, an all-pro ceiling, if you will. But when I look at Mike McCarthy, my problem is he still got out-coached. And he got out-coached by his replacement. And he got outcoached by his replacement at home. And he got outcoached by his replacement at home by a young quarterback in his first playoff start. So the Green Bay Packers moved off of Mike McCarthy because they said, you know what, we got better. And then LaFleur showed them that they got better. I'm like, oh, that's a problem. I agree with you, Joy. Maybe don't move off of McCarthy. But the problem is, at the point in which the Packers replaced Mike McCarthy, and the Packers took the replacement of Mike McCarthy into Dallas and beat Mike McCarthy in Dallas with a significantly worse team.
It's a bad loss.
That's a problem.
It's a bad loss, but it's more emotional than it is than it is actual longevity. LaFleur's done a nice job, and I give him credit for that win. He has not had as successful a term in Green Bay till now.
But the last
Mike McCarthy did.
If you compare, because what we're talking about right now is McCarthy's stint in Dallas. And I don't want to make it a LaFleur and McCarthy decision, but LaFleur in Green Bay has outcoached McCarthy in Dallas. But even beyond that, I'm thinking about the playoffs. McCarthy got outcoached by Shanahan the year before. And then he got outcoached by Shanahan the year before. So if we need Dak to be great, we also need our coach to be great. But in the last 3 playoff games, our coach has gotten outcoached by their coach.
I think Mike McCarthy is a good enough coach to get a team to a Super Bowl and win it.
And so here's my thing. I think he was. He did. But, James, you know how it is.
Did he get worse at coaching?
I think other people got better. Because remember, back then, in 2011, I think Mike McCarthy was an innovator. One, I think first and foremost, his offense and the way in which his offense was structured was incredibly innovative because you had James Jones, you had Jordy Nelson, you had Greg Jennings. You were out in 4 wide. You had a tight end that was split out wide. Like, people didn't really do that back in the gap. Now everybody does it.
He's still winning 12 games, right? Like, winning in a tough division.
I'm saying
look at his offense, though. So as much as we're going to give Dak all this credit, right? You go from leading the league in picks last year, okay? So then he takes over as the coordinator. The offense looks phenomenal, right? CeeDee Lamb's everywhere. The way he's scheming CeeDee Lamb and all that. Like,
CeeDee's all pro.
So we got to give him credit for that. My thing is, he ain't throwing picks out there.
He's not.
So that matters. And another thing is, let's just say that as an owner, right? So you keep talking about this 30 years. I'm going to use the 30 years now, since you done sold me on it. So we talk about 30 years. So let's say for the next 34 years, right? So in these last 4 years, I pay Dak, I pay Micah, I pay CD, right? All the high pay, they're going to get all the money because they high, they elite. So I pay them the highest they can get paid. And I get the same results. So now it's 34 years of the same thing. Do you get where I'm going with this?
I hear where you're saying.
You got to have some type of change.
We don't know if that next 4 years is going to be like that. We don't know what they're going to accomplish in that next 4 years, though, Shady.
Why would well, here's my thought is, what leads you to believe the next 4 will be brighter than the previous 4?
Great question.
Because the previous 4 has been laden with all pros. I don't believe that the next 4 of the roster will be better, in large part because of the monetary restrictions. But even as I look at Dak and I look at Mike McCarthy, to me, they're in similar boats. Mike McCarthy, we would probably take at least 3 NFC coaches over him. 2 of those 3 have proven why we would take them over him. Because we're taking Shanahan over him. We're taking, obviously, McVay over him. At this junction in time, with all due respect, I'm taking LaFleur over him based upon what I've seen of LaFleur's sample size and McCarthy's sample size. So if we think that Dak isn't the problem, because y'all at home are probably saying, Acho, Shady, y'all tripping, it ain't Dak. McCarthy's going to run up against Shanahan like he has in 2 of the 3 years, or run up against LaFleur, and LaFleur is only getting better. So that's where James Jones, I'm just torn on. McCarthy's a great coach, but there's a lot more really good coaches.
It don't sound like you believe that.
A lot more. 3 is not a lot more.
I'm saying a lot more great coaches now than there were in 2011. I think that whole Shanahan and McVay tree, I think they all
But not only that, though, like, but I hear you saying, like, Coach Mike, when he had myself, Jordy, and all that, he offensively, it was a great offensive mind, and it caught up to him. But then I hear Shady say, well, Dak Prescott's an all-pro under Mike McCarthy. He designed this for CeeDee Lamb and designed that offense big time. Right. And I'm hearing y'all say that this dude is not a good coach and he's getting out-coached. No, but you're saying
he's getting out-coached when it matters most. Dak Prescott is falling short. But
what I'm saying is we say getting out-coached, I think, by other players making plays.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. That's not why I'm saying it, but I do see what you're saying. The reason I'm saying getting out coached is against the San Francisco 49ers. You call a play in which Dak Prescott, if you slide beforehand or if you don't run the extra 5 yards, all of a sudden you
I gotta tell my veteran quarterback that? Oh my God, I gotta tell my veteran quarterback to do that. That's like our coach tell me, yo, we got the lead. We trying to run the clock out. Yo, stay in bounds.
JD, what you think they say in the headset?
I'm done with it.
What you think they say in the headset?
I was with you.
Acho, the headset turns off when the play starts.
Correct.
So how I'm going to yell in Dak Prescott's head to slide when he running with the ball?
What you would say in the headset, because again, I've only worn the headset defensively.
I'm done with you.
But what you would say in the headset is, hey, alert the time. Make sure you either get the ball out of bounds or make sure you get out of bounds and able to spike it so we can run another play.
What is he, a third-year dude?
I'm saying, again, he got out-coached last year against the Packers when you're getting beat on the exact same route.
So I got a question. I got a question for you, because we're talking 12 wins, division titles to the playoffs. Which coach you bringing in here that's going to take this team to the Super Bowl? And don't say Shanahan, because he done been to 17 of them and came out there with 0 rings. So who are you putting in there that's going to come in there and do it? LaFleur? Because LaFleur had a really good football team when Tampa came to town and sent Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur home too.
Nick Sirianni.
So tell me.
I think I would rather check behind these young coaches like the Nick Siriannis that the Eagles took over, and you say, wait, what's Nick Sirianni going to do for Doug Peterson? And he took him to a Super Bowl. So if you're saying get them to a Super Bowl,
you could also hire somebody that doesn't do that. And like, listen, I don't want to shade LaFleur. Okay, I'm not.
He's hard to shade.
I'm not.
Sure, LaFleur, I noticed that too.
No, it's not that. I'm saying, but if we're going to compare, let's compare.
Compare the sample sizes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like LaFleur, since he's taken the job.
Because LaFleur had Aaron Rodgers, right?
Compare the last 3 years. 12, compare that.
Did LaFleur have MVP level Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
What did he do with him?
He got you to NFC Championship game.
At the crib.
Further than the Dallas Cowboys.
Mike been there plenty of times.
Not with the
Cowboys.
At what point does your resume stop counting?
I'm starting with LaFleur's and I'm starting with McCarthy's in Dallas.
I'm saying, okay, LaFleur had an unequivocally better quarterback, right?
Rodgers.
In his prime, MVP, back-to-back MVPs, didn't win a championship, right? Who did Mike McCarthy win a championship with, James?
Same guy.
Aaron
Rodgers. Years
I'm saying,
ago,
when does the resume stop counting as a coach? And this year, and the problem is, like, this year, if Mike was still, like, it was just not able to get the best out of players, I hear you. He just turned Dak Prescott into an all-pro runner-up for MVP.
But he fell short when it mattered most, like Dak Prescott did. Whatever we say about Dak, I think whatever we say about Dak, we have to say about Mike.
Do you know how many all-pros the Niners had? Because I'm thinking, like, you got that many players, you should be going to the NFC game, you should be going to the Super Bowl.
I think they had 7 last year.
Do you get what I'm saying, James? So, like I don't know if they're going to have 9 all-pros again. That's hard to do, man.
Very hard.
So my thing is, if you have that as an owner, because I know y'all going to coaches, but I'm going back to Jerry this before we leave.
Yes, sir.
Because I just want you to understand how important this is. You got 9 all-pros.
Yeah.
A team like the Niners, right? They have a lot of all-pros. And every year they get close to either NFC Championship game or they go to the Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is that's why they pay their players. That's why they have these issues with the contracts, and they find a way to pay them because it's worth it. But the Cowboys part, right? Y'all winning games in the regular season, but y'all not getting to the other games.
So it's the players that got to make plays, not McCarthy.
I like McCarthy.
It's one player.
But that's what I'm saying. The players are not showing up.
All I'm saying is that if I'm the owner and I'm giving you all this, I need something in return.
Really quick. Where do the Cowboys got to go to the NFC Championship not to send Dak on and Mike on and all that? Where do they got to go?
NFC
Championship game. Like, what you think?
Keep everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, and the next year we're going to come in and say they going to the Super Bowl?
Man, you won't play today. I ain't playing with you. I'm at work. I'm going to joke.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.